Hello, students. Welcome to the seventh video in our reading strategy series. This week, we'll be learning about predicting and critical thinking. By the end of this video, you will understand how to make smart guesses about what will happen next and how to think carefully about what you are reading. Let's first start with what is predicting. Predicting is when you make a guess about what will happen next in a story or a text you are reading. You use clues from what you have already read and you try to find out what might happen next. That is called as predicting. Basically, in easy words, it means guessing what is going to happen next in the story or the text you are reading. Let's see it with the help of an example. If you are reading a mystery and you read that a character is sneaking around in the dark, sneaking here means trying to hide himself in the dark, then you might predict that something surprising or scary is going to happen. You might have all experienced this scenario when you are watching the scary or the horror shows. Usually they show people hide trying to sneak in the dark and suddenly the skeletons or the dangerous things comes up. So this is, you can predict when you see something like that, you can predict what's going to happen next. Now let's see why is predicting important, why you need to learn this skill. It's because predicting keeps you engaged in the story and it helps you to pay attention to what you are reading. Also, it makes the reading more fun because you are not just simply reading, but you are trying to find out what's coming next. So, this thing will develop your interest into what you are reading and also helps you in better understanding. Let's see this with the help of an example. Suppose you are reading a story, and in the story, you read that a boy is packing his bag. So now you can guess. Packing bag. If he is keeping books, means he is going to school. If he is keeping the clothes and other things, means he is going about to go on a trip. So you are reading and you are guessing using the clues. Now, let's take a look at what is critical thinking. Predicting is to guess what's going to happen next in the story. What is critical thinking then? So, critical thinking means carefully analyzing, thinking carefully and questioning about what you are reading. If something happens in the story, you question, how come? Why this happened? What happened? How can this happen? So, when you try to question like this means you are critically thinking about it. You just don't accept whatever is written. You try to question it by asking like what, how, why, like that. So it, you can ask questions about what makes sense and look for more deeper meaning. You just don't accept the word as it is, but you look for the deeper meaning of it. Let's understand this with the help of an example. If you are reading a story and if a character makes a strange decision, you might ask yourself, why did they do that? Or what would happen if they made a different choice? Like you can see that you are reading about a boy who is a very good student, and you read that suddenly he dropped out of the school. So now you will not accept it as it is because it's a strange decision. He's a very good student, but now he dropped out of school. He discontinued, stopped studying. So this is a strange decision. You will not accept it. Now you will start thinking, why? Why did he do that? Or he made this decision. Now what will happen to him in the future? So when you think like this is called as critical thinking. Now we'll look at strategies for predicting and critical thinking. I have outlined four strategies here, which I will explain to you one by one. The first one is to use clues from the text. When you read, there will be clues already in the text which will help you to guess what will happen next. For example, you need to look for the clues like actions, words, or situations, which will help you to make the guess. Let's see an example. If you read that a character is looking at the sky and the sky has dark clouds, then you can guess immediately that okay, it's going to rain maybe. Okay. The second strategy here is to ask questions while you read. When you are reading, ask yourself questions. What type of questions? That what might happen next? Why is this happening? How did this happen? So when you ask this why, what, and how type of questions, it helps you think critically about what you are reading. I'll give you an example here. If you read that there is a party going on in the story, and suddenly a character of the story leaves the party, is not in the party, going out, then you can ask yourself, why did she leave the party? Why did he leave the party? Then he left the party and went out. Now what will happen next? So this is, you are thinking critically before you guess. The third strategy is to connect your own knowledge. Think about what you already know. Or have you ever been in a similar situation? Something similar happened with you anytime or with anyone you know? Then you can connect that with what you are reading and it will make guessing important, easier. For example, if you know that it gets cold in winter, you all know that in winter it will be cold, and you read that the story takes place in December. So, your background knowledge, your own knowledge says that in December the weather is cold. And you also know that when the weather is cold, people wear warm clothes. So, you are using your own knowledge and connecting it with what you are reading, and you are able to now guess. The last strategy mentioned here is look for patterns. In stories, there will be patterns. That means same thing happening again and again, over and over again. So if you observe something like that, then also it will help you to predict. Now, let's see it with an example. If you are reading a story and you are seeing from the first chapter onwards that it always introduces a new problem. So, in the last chapter, also, there was a problem and people tried to solve it. Now, in the next chapter, also, you can expect, predict that there will be a problem which the characters in the story are going to solve. So, these were the strategies for predicting and critical thinking. Now, let's do a small practice here. Here is a sentence. The girl opened the door slowly and gasped when she saw what was inside. So there was a girl who opened the door and she took heavy breathe. I mean, she was breathing heavily or deep breaths after she saw what was inside. Now, what do you think will happen next? Here is a question. Options for you. She finds something surprising. She will close the door and leave, or she'll start laughing. You need to guess based on your clues given there and your own knowledge. When do you breathe heavily? When you see something, how, at what situation this happens? So you analyze, you think critically, and you use the clues and you connect your experience with what you are reading, and then you can guess. So, if your answer is she finds something surprising, then very good, well done, that's the correct answer. Now, I'll share with you a few tips which you can follow while doing predicting and critical thinking. Tip 1 is to stay curious. Means wanted to know what will happen. So this type of behavior is called as being curious. So try always to be curious about what will happen next. So it will help you in predicting, and also you will be interested in the story. Otherwise you don't feel like continuing if you're not curious. Curious means always thinking what will happen next. Next thing is think deeply. Ask yourself why this happened. Ask yourself, what if he has taken this thing instead of that thing? Okay, and it will help you to think critically, and then you can guess what will happen next in the text. And the last one is check your predictions. As you keep reading, see if what you guessed before is right or not. If it is right, then you will learn the skill and you will use it again and again, and this will also help you in exam, and you don't have to read everything. You can predict, critically analyze, and you can answer the questions. Now let's recap what we studied today in today's video. Today we learned that predicting is about making guesses based on clues, and critical thinking is about asking questions and analyzing what you read carefully. In the next class, we will play some fun games that will test your prediction and critical thinking skills. So get ready to be detectives and figure out what happens next in the stories we read. Finally, see you in class where we will put your predicting and critical thinking skills to test. Till then, have a nice day. Take care. Good.